Hope your week has been a fulfilling one. I know that many of you are involved in amazing work to make the world a better place. And I've met many of you individually this year and in the process of releasing my book. And I really look forward to our first Symbiotic Culture community call and getting to know you and your work better. In chapter 10, I asserted that a supermajority of humanity, more than 7 billion of us, already know there is what I call a transcendent power beyond the material world and beyond the mind, that the matter of the heart is truly the heart of the matter. Looking at history and from my own personal experience, I'll just come out and say it. The divine love that flows from this transcendent higher power is perhaps the greatest untapped resource we have in facing our wicked and seemingly intractable global problems. It seems to me, and perhaps many of you who hold religious or spiritual core beliefs, that this deeper reality has been deplatformed in contemporary culture in favor of man-made materialistic solutions, structures, and solutions. Those of you who've read the first part of this book know that more than 50 years ago, when I was 12, I had a spiritual awakening experience of what at the time I had no language for, an experience of a deeper reality where everything was connected to everything else, and I felt part of something bigger than myself. This experience propelled me into what has become a lifelong journey to bring this power of divine love to the building of real world communities in the form of ecosystem networks of citizens, families, neighbors, organizations, and local governments, all working for mutual benefit. In order to communicate about something so powerful, in my book, I chose the term the transcendent to point to this great mystery acknowledged by people all over the world, East, West, and indigenous over the past 3,000 years. What started in my childhood and youth as an experience of an abstract power became personal. For me, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I know for many of you, even saying something like this may cause trepidation for fear I might try to make you believe as I do. That's not why I'm sharing this. The reason I share this is to make this kind of sharing of our interior religious and spiritual life to become okay again in the public square and in civic life. Particularly since for me and the majority of humanity, the life of the spirit is the foundation for any efforts to transform society. But let's acknowledge that there are already boots on the ground working day in and day out. The spirit of divine love is manifest in reality right now, what a Nobel Prize winning chemist calls islands of coherence, even in what seems to be a world of chaos. Not only are there billions of heads and hearts that may already be engaged in seeking what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community in their own way, but their hands are already there as well. I'm referring to the 50 million community groups worldwide, as well as 10 million religious groups, with an impressive 350,000 religious groups in the United States alone and 500,000 in Europe, all doing good works in their individual silos and siloed networks. Please allow that to sink in for a moment. There are already millions, probably billions of individuals actively engaged in projects of mutual benefit. Great goodness is already being released into good works, but it is not coherently coordinated yet for maximum impact. That's not all. There's another key ingredient that has been left out and marginalized in grand visions of a new world. Main Street businesses, microenterprise, and small to medium-sized businesses, which represent 90% of all businesses worldwide and 99.9% of all businesses in the US and Europe. We're talking about 272 million small businesses globally seeking to bring good goods and great goodness to the world. At least 25% minimum, or 68 million of these businesses are already oriented towards being purpose-driven. Perhaps there's a religious or spiritual mission behind the business, or maybe they just want to do good while they do well. So social, economic, and environmental concerns are factored in to the financial bottom line. This is all happening in the estimated 2 million villages, towns, and cities worldwide. So let's do the math. If we want to activate 50,000 communities worldwide and have 12 needs sectors in networks for each community, that's 50,000 times 12, or 600,000 people out of 8 billion. We only need to mobilize 600,000 change makers worldwide in 50,000 villages, towns, and cities to weave and connect all the good already happening in local communities, and then to reach billions. In addition to formal networked silos, there are movements whose threads are reaching outward and upward, who acknowledge the necessity for radical collaboration, yet don't know how to build new coherent community networks at the same time as they do their own work of heart. Here are some threads of the tapestry of a yet unnamed global, yet community-based, whole cloth movement to promote intentional mutual benefit and connecting the good worldwide. Religious and spiritual groups, formal and informal, providing direct care and services. Regenerative culture, community, and economy movements. Civic engagement and bridge builders. Charities and social change efforts. Religious who are already supporting creation care. Purpose-driven small businesses globally. New economy and commons movements. Localization, relocalization, and cosmo-localization movements. Pro-democracy and civic health and civil society movements. There are probably so many more not mentioned here, so please feel free to help me add to the list. The stories I share in this book show how it's possible to bring together all of these threads into a coherent, resilient community. It's been done before. It's being done now, and it can be done on a global scale in the future. So let's make a renewed commitment to come together across all human-made divides and build a new society from within the old. I look forward to connecting on the upcoming community call, getting to know one another in your own work, and creating a sacred space for us to connect across the threads of separate movements, encouraging a whole cloth tapestry to emerge. I hope you are enjoying the book so far. In order for us to have a deeper conversation on our upcoming calls, please read the links I have shared, and looking forward to hearing your feedback. Also, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a wonderful day.